Good evening, everyone. Today we're going to be doing a Hangout to present different tools that you can use to introduce technology in your classroom. The first section of tools is formative assessment and student response systems. Our first tool will be Mentimeter. Mentimeter was originally created by Johnny Warstrom. More information about the website's creator and all of their staff bios can be found on the Mentimeter website under the About Us tab, and then click the team. They have a very extensive list of all their team members and their bios, but if you want more information about Warstrom himself, you can go to his professional Crunchbase page, and it has anything you could ever want to know about him. The purpose of this tool is to make any presentation interactive. It's very easy to use. An account is free and it can be linked through either your Google account or your Facebook. The presentations have step-by-step instructions, so think of it as a PowerPoint that it just walks you through and tells you how to make every one, but your PowerPoint is now interactive. And the best part is that students only have to enter the presentation code on their mobile device to submit answers, which means that they don't have to make an account. They just have to be given a code by their teacher and they can answer questions from their desk. So the possible uses that I came up with were class polls to take surveys, benchmarks for either exit tickets or to make sure that students are comprehending information mid-lesson, and review games. So applying the SAMR model for substitution, I put you could have students enter answers to review questions through Mentimeter rather than polling the students by hand or having one of the students express their answers aloud. For augmentation, you could split the students into groups based on their poll answers and have them come up with support for why they answered the way they did. Modification, students could work in groups to complete polls through Mentimeter, receiving points for every correct answer. The group with the most points would win. And finally, redefinition. Groups of students create their own Mentimeter presentations and take turns presenting their review questions to the class. The only thing that would be different with this redefinition is that in this case, students would have to make an account, even if one person from the group made an account. So in conclusion, Mentimeter is a really good tool because students can answer questions without fear of speaking in class. So a lot of students will only raise their hand when they see the majority of people in the class raising their hand, or they're too afraid to raise their hand and speak up and give an answer. So this eliminates that fear. It's an easy and fun way to create review games, and it also gives teachers very fast and accurate feedback so that they can see how well their students are understanding what's being taught to them. But the biggest constraint is that not all schools may have access to mobile devices in the classroom, and then this tool would not be possible to use. So next we're going to go on to today's meet by Kayla.
Okay, so today's meet is really, really cool. It was started by James Sokol. He is a web developer, a Python and JavaScript developer. Okay, perfect. And he is the founder of today's meet and the co-founder of Subordle. He is an active member of the Mozilla, Python, and Django, and he founded today's meet in 2008. There is a blog which you can find any additional information on. So the purpose of today's meet is to create a platform for students and teachers to interact. It's really cool because there is something called the Black Channel. A Black Channel is a discussion that you can use outside of the classroom. So if you have a group project or just a review for anything, teachers can start a discussion, or they can start a discussion as a group and talk back and forth and get a little bit more in-depth and review. It is free to register. You do have to sign up in an account, but you can do study groups, discussions, and group projects, like I said before. So applying this to the SAMR model, you would be able to substitute any in-class discussions if there's not as much time as you would think during a class period with today's meet, and students can talk back and forth. In a lot of college classes, there is a discussion outside of the class that you have to answer things for in class. So this would be a great thing to use as an alternative. For Augment, you could have the students ask the questions through today's Meet. So instead of emailing a teacher, you could have them send their questions through today's Meet. Students can work from home or on a computer. Parents can also connect with the teacher to have discussion questions. So there could be a big group chat within the teachers and the parents as well. And you can make a study group for upcoming tests between all the students, and they can study through there. In conclusion, it's easy access to student and parents, and it makes discussions to questions a lot easier. And having no internet access could really affect the way that today's Meet is run. They might not have internet access in the classroom or outside of the classroom that they could use. And then now we're going to go to Emily with the formative.
Okay, so with formative, it was created by a team of teachers with a CEO named Craig Jones, and formative was previously known as Smartest K-12 when it was originally created. Formative's purpose is to allow a real-time intervention aligned with standards that makes differentiated instruction simple. It creates assignments for any subject, or you can upload assignments that you've already done. You can do previously existing PDFs, documents if you previously have a lesson plan, or you find a lesson plan that you like, you can upload it so that it's online. Students have the ability to submit work through pictures and drawings so that they have the opportunity to do their work in a different way. So instead of just writing an essay to explain something, they can submit a drawing or a picture of different things that they can represent their work in. And it lets the students provide responses, or it lets teachers provide responses to the students' work virtually immediately. Applying the SAMR model, you can substitute this by using it as a way to turn in assignments instead of handing in hard copies. So all of the students' work will be uploaded to this website, and it will be stored there for as long as they need it to. And this really prevents students from losing their work. For Augment, you can use formative to improve their work after viewing responses. So you can respond to their work as soon as they submit it, and then the students can improve it right after. To modify, students can work from home and submit all of their work online. So instead of turning in papers, you can do them all online, or scan something and turn it in online. And to redefine it, you can use formative as a new turn-in method. So why formative? Formative 1 is eco-friendly and saves paper, and 2 prevents students from missing an assignment. And we all know that students will take a piece of paper, they'll shove it in their desk, they'll shove it in a folder, and they'll lose it. This prevents that from happening. You can, if the students do have the luxury of having laptops or iPads or whatever it may be in the classroom, they can do all of their work online, and basically works as like a Google Drive for students, and allows them to keep all of their work stored online so that they can go back and look at it anytime that they want. They can review it, they can use it as a tool, they can see what other people have turned in. And teachers do have the ability to see who is understanding the content right away versus who is struggling, because as they turn it in, the teachers have a live version of what's going on. And if a student isn't comprehending the information, they can understand that right away. So constraints, obviously not every student or every school will have the access to the tools and technology needed for this. And that could definitely cause some divide, or if a teacher assigns the homework for school or for home, not all of the students are going to have the tools needed at home to turn something in online. They might have to go to a public library or find another resource to get that. And I also put that some people are more visual learners, and not everyone does as well online. Some people don't understand technology. Some people get frustrated. I personally like to write out my homework and do it on a piece of paper and color code. And not everybody learns through technology. And so for some people, it may be frustrating because they do better with paper and pens and markers and not as well online. So next is Plickers with Brittany.
All right, so Plickers is created by Nolan Amy. Nolan joined Teach for America in 2008 and developed the first version of Plickers while a high school math teacher in Richmond, California, and Plickers was launched in 2013. Basically what it is it's a tool that lets teachers collect real-time formative assessment data without the need for student devices. You can scan student cards in a matter of seconds to help see if that material needs to be reviewed or more thoroughly, or if students are grasping the concepts. It gives teachers instant reports of students' answers with the percentage of how many got the answer correct. Applying SAMR, the substitute use, I put student use Plickers for assessments instead of paper and pencil. The teachers can use Plickers as an assessment tool instead of asking students to raise their hand and answer a question. Augment, teachers can be made aware instantly of if a student hasn't answered a question, so they can address that. For Modify, teachers can show how other students have answered without giving away the correct answer so that students can rethink their answer and change it. And for Redefine, students can all be a part of formative assessment versus calling on different students at a time or not having some students participate at all. And in conclusion, Plickers allows teachers to collect on-the-spot formative assessment data without the need to have students use devices or paper or pencil. This tool provides teachers with the data needed to inform their instruction. There's a quote that says, "It provides students with the opportunity to participate and engage in learning without feeling self-conscious," and that's straight from Plickers' website. I put one constraint on here that children who have disabilities could have a hard time with using the technology just because they might need a little more guidance and some kids might not be able to do it. And next we have the review and study section, and Anna will go ahead and start with Quizlet Live.
All right. Quizlet Live was created by Andrew Sutherland, who is the CTO, while he was still in high school trying to improve his grades, which really impressed me personally when I was doing my research. Sutherland's blog and short biography are included on the Quizlet website under About and Team, but more information on him and his story of how he invented this while he was so young can be found on his LinkedIn professional page, and I would suggest giving it a visit because it is very interesting. And Brittany?
Quizlet Live is essentially a classroom game that is live. It allows study sets to be turned into a live review game. Students join the game by using a game code that is automatically set for that game. The students' names are showed and creates teams of 3 to 4 people. And the team members will see a definition on their screen, and only one of the team members will have the matching term. The teams must work together to match each term and definition. The leaderboard is displayed on the teacher's screen, showing each team's progress in real time. The first team to match 12 correct definitions wins the game.
So when we are applying the SAMR model for substitution, I have students could log into the Quizlet Live review game to review vocabulary words in class instead of using physical flashcards made of paper, which not only would save time, it would save the resources, and it brings the modern technology into the classroom. For augmentation, students could log into the Quizlet classroom at home, complete at least 2 of the review games, and print the results to compare with other students in the classroom. Modification, Students create their own study set based on a classroom lesson, share their Quizlet Live link, and have a class-wide review game based on their work. And finally, for redefinition, students could be broken into groups and assigned a chapter topic that hasn't been taught in class, create a document with definitions and examples of key terms to pass out to the class, and then finish with a class-wide Quizlet Live review game. So not only would they be reviewing, but they would also be having a hand in actually teaching part of the chapter to their classmates.
And in conclusion, Quizlet Live is a fun, engaging game for your classroom where students can learn from each other. There's teams of students that work together, racing to learn the material in a Quizlet study set. And it can be any device, computers, mobile phones, iPads, Chromebooks, etc. The teachers get a class-level snapshot of how well the students know the material, breaking down what material students know well and what still needs more attention. I think one of the constraints would be not having internet access in the classroom, because that, obviously would cause a problem. And next we're going to go with quizzes to Kayla.
It looks like Kayla got disconnected, so while we're working on getting her reconnected, can Emily go ahead and start her presentation, and then we'll swing back around?
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, great.
Okay, sorry, my computer just died on me. Okay, so quizzes is really, really cool. Let me go ahead and just jump in here. Are we good? Okay. So okay, so quizzes is really cool. It was co-founded by Ankit Gupta and Deepak Joy Chennath, and they're both co-founders of quizzes. And the purpose is to create interactive quizzes for students. By that, it's kind of basically stating that you have your quiz that you can do on the computer that students can make or the teachers can make, and it makes it interactive so everybody can do it together at once. It is a free registration, and you can use computers and devices. By devices, that's like an iPad, or you can use a cell phone, anything like that that you can use. You can print the quizzes, so if students wanted to make their own quiz, you could have them pass it out to the class so everybody could take the quiz at once, or you could do it as a class altogether. It is user-friendly, and you have the option to add pictures together. So if you wanted to do something for students with hearing disabilities or something like that, or if you're just trying to guess what the photo is or means or describes, you can use the photo to depict that. You can use it as a class discussion, or you could use it in group projects. Applying it to the SAMR model, you could substitute the quiz, a paper quiz, for the quizzes quiz. Students can use the quizzes at home in their own classroom individually, and they can make up their own groups that way and make up their own quizzes to review. And then students can make practice tests for other students in the classroom, or add picture option to make flashcards for review. Why quizzes? It's easy access for students and teachers. Kids can do it at home with their parents for review if they need to, and it provides an interactive test option for teachers, so they don't have to just do something that's a paper, or they could stand in front of the class and have the quiz going on in the background and have all the students up front just, answering on their own piece of paper. Any constraints that it may have is no internet access. If there isn't internet access, you can pass it out to the students and print the quiz. Or if it has trouble loading, that can delay the class a little bit also, so there should always be a backup. And then we're going to go ahead and go with Emily to Kahoot.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Kahoot. And the co-founders are Johan Brand, Jamie Berger, Asmund Furuseth, and Morten Versevic. And this tool launched in 2013. What does this do? It is by far an amazing assessment tool. It is great for review guides or assessments or exit tickets, really any way for collecting information from students. It creates a fun and engaging way to do it. Students can compete against each other under different code names. It can be used in a multitude of different ways. It can be used on any form of technology, laptops, iPads, iPhones, Promethean boards, smart boards. You can pull it up to have the leaderboard and the questions going on the Promethean board, while students can be sitting on Chromebooks answering the questions at their desks. Teachers get instant results, so as soon as you pull up a question, you get a timed amount. Students respond, and they know automatically what the right answer was, who's gotten the past 5 right, who's gotten the past 5 wrong. It lets the student and the teacher know who's getting what right and who's getting what wrong. And it creates a fun and positive way to use the technology in a classroom that's not distracting. And some may say, oh, this is a distracting cool tool because it is so fun, but really it's not, because the students do get so engaged in using it that they're having fun with it, that they're not getting distracted by using the tool in an inappropriate way because they are engaged with the lesson. So applying the SAMR model, you can substitute a paper and pencil test for an interactive online assessment. So instead of having students sit there and quiet and doing, just staring at a piece of paper, writing answers down, you can have them on their Chromebooks or on their iPads answering questions and pushing buttons and getting excited with their friends to see, oh, who finishes first, or, competing to see who can get the highest points if you're playing a game. For the augmentation, teachers know right away what students are doing well versus those who aren't. For modification, it allows teachers to create an engaging assessment that is fun for students and overall just an enjoyable time to learn. For redefinition, it allows for a faster result and provides a fun and engaging way to take on an assessment. So again, why Kahoot? It allows teachers and students to have a fun and competitive assessment. It is great for both study guides, reviewing, and assessments. It's very easy to use for teachers and students. All you do is you log on, you create an assessment, it gives you a code, and when you're ready to do that, students log on to a different link, and it says kahoot.it, and they type in the game code or the pin code for that study guide or review or game or whatever it is you're doing, and they then have to type in a code name, and then it automatically all gets generated. And the teacher knows what student is under what code name and can therefore have all the information of what questions they got wrong and what they got right. It works with all types of technology. It functions on all types of technology, so it's very easy for anything that you're using in the classroom. However, on the flip side of that, a constraint could be that you don't have the technology in the classroom to do it. So you could always pull up the actual Kahoot lesson on the main screen, like the Promethean board or smart board, and have the students write down answers on a sheet of paper or on color-coded index cards to go with the answers on the Kahoot game, or you could print off the Kahoot quiz and have the students fill it out at their desks. And again, another problem, as always, if you don't have technology at home, it could be a problem, and so you could always print out the quiz and give the students to take it home and have them do it that way. And another problem is that students, if they use code names, may recognize other students. And if one student is succeeding, doing really well, like has 5,000 points, hasn't gotten a question wrong, and another student is under another code name and has gotten every single question wrong, they might not be as excited. Students may pick on them because they don't know what they're doing, and so that could cause a little bit of a problem if students are getting a little too competitive. They could be hurting other students' feelings and not realizing it. So that's just something to focus on, because you don't want anyone to feel, dumb or not as smart as anyone else while doing a lesson that's supposed to be fun and engaging. So next we have observational assessment. And Anna and we worked on this one, and it was co-created. Actually, Anna's going to start with this one. Sorry.
Okay. No, that's okay. All right. So this tool is Classcraft. It was created by a team of brothers, so it was co-created by Sean Young, CEO, Devin Young, President, and Lauren Young, CFO. More information about this team of brothers and co-creators can be found on their LinkedIn professional profiles, which I attached above. So when I link this into the website, you can go into this slideshow and click on their names, and their LinkedIn profiles will be attached for more information.
So sorry. So what makes classcraft rewarding and is what makes classcraft great is that it makes rewarding and disciplining students fun. It creates an interesting and relevant way to connect to each student on a different level. It allows teachers to have multiple classes. And online, they're allowed to have it's almost like a different folder, kind of like a Google Drive, like your folders in there. It allows you to have different classes, and it lasts for an entire school year. And it could potentially help eliminate behavior problems in students by giving them this rewarding toy or something online. And it helps teach accountability with the students by giving them the responsibility and holding them accountable for their actions. So it really just enforces a really good positive behavior, positive attitude, and tries to just have an overall positive vibe for the classroom.
So the cool thing about this tool is that it's actually like an online video game for your classroom. So all of the students in your class become anons, and they can design what they look like, and they go on what's called quests. So I feel like that's relevant to applying this to the SAMR model, because a lot of it is actually like making a game out of the work. So it can be substituted for paper copies of worksheets by loading online worksheets into the files as part of a quest, and students have to complete these online worksheets before they can move on to complete their quest and get their prizes. Students can be given an online prompt and upload a copy of their completed assignment to the Classcraft quest. Instead of doing the worksheet through the website, they can actually have a prompt and go complete their worksheet elsewhere, or they can do it through another app, whatever means it works for them, and then upload that assignment through Classcraft because it lets you link a lot of other apps in there. Students can use the discussion feature to collaborate on a response to a quest assignment before uploading their responses. Or the teacher can assign each group of students a topic and have them create their own quest that their classmates must work through as a kind of review game. And I think that would be a really interesting way to do it. Now, they would have to, the teacher would have to make sure that everyone was connected into this quest, but I really feel like that could be a rewarding way for this tool to be implemented.
Whoa. So in conclusion, it's a great year-long program that promotes positive behavior through gaming and working together online. Points can visibly be given in the game or taken based on the students' behaviors, and students can have real-life benefits in the classroom while also enjoying the game. Constraints that this tool could have is that not all students may find it engaging. It's not something that is made for everyone. Not everyone is going to find, an online quest game as fun as playing with Hello Kitty or reading a Pinkalicious book. Some people, guys, may not even find it engaging. They might want to go play with basketballs and soccer balls. So it's not meant for everyone, but for those that do have behavior problems, or for portions of the class, that may be a really great way to encourage positive behavior out of them if it's something they're interested in. And another problem is, again, just the technology. Is if students want to do this in the classroom and the school doesn't provide it, or at home and they don't have it, it could be a problem. And if not everyone speaks English and you don't understand how to use the directions online, that could be another language barrier that's a problem with it. If it doesn't translate into another language and you try to use it and don't understand. So that could be a difficulty that students encounter. Yeah. And next is Class Dojo with Brittany and Kayla.
Okay, so Class Dojo was created by Sam Shadharry Harry and Liam Don. They were both education technology entrepreneurs with experience as teachers. Class Dojo was launched in 2011. Sam was born in the United Kingdom and lived in Wales, Abu Dhabi, before earning a degree in economics from Cambridge. And Liam was born in Germany and grew up in London before earning a degree in computer science from the University of Durham. They both live in San Francisco currently. It is a communication app for the classroom. It connects teachers, parents, and students who use it to share photos, videos, and messages throughout the school day. Teachers and parents can privately message each other without exchanging their phone numbers, and parents can translate messages into any language.
Okay. Okay, so what's really cool about Dojo is that it's kind of creating a student profile, which is basically leads into the SAMR model with the substitution teachers. I really think that this is great for teachers because you can substitute any folders and files, so you have less of, a abundance of papers that you have in your classroom that you have to sort through. And Dojo can create the student profiles for them. You can use the presentations for class. You can use the presentations for class lessons or for parent-teacher feedback. You can also use it on back-to-school nights for teachers to describe what the students are doing to the parents in class. You can share any photos on there, any artwork, any just any work that the student has done in the class to date. To modify, students can make their own avatar to show what they've been doing in class. It's kind of fun because they get to create and explore and make their own person, and they get to share with their parents and families what they've done in the class. And that kind of redefines the whole outlook of substituting folders and files and making it interactive so that the parents can see every day and can log in, and they can also connect with the teachers on a personal level to figure out what their child is doing every day and what they can work on and what they can learn. Why Class Dojo? Students can create their own profiles and have fun with it, and parents and teachers can really connect and get one-on-one with each other. If there's anything wrong or they need to work on one thing at home, teachers can directly communicate with the parents on what they're doing. And they can also show examples back and forth through the child's profile. Any constraints, again, would be students with no internet access or computer access. That kind of holds a lot on technology. Other than that, you would have to go in the classroom to talk to the teacher directly if you didn't have phone or internet access. And then we're going to go ahead and go to content sharing and go to Newsly with Anna.
All right, so now we're going to start with the tool Newsella. It was co-created by Matthew Gross, the CEO, and Dan Kogan-Drew, Chief Product Officer. Information about the creators can be found on the Newsella website under About and then the tab Company. But even more information can be found on the website's blog, and that has a lot more detailed information, and both the co-creators actually make posts there almost weekly, so you get a lot of updates not only about the app, but also about some of the other things that the creators are doing in their lives. So the purpose of this tool is to bridge the gap between reading and comprehension, and it also starts to teach students how to read current events and apply them to their lives. It's really easy to use. The account is free. It can be linked to Google. And when you make a teacher account, it comes with an access code. And I think one of my favorite things about this tool was that when the teacher creates an account, she can set her classroom to elementary mode. So any students that are in an elementary mode classroom cannot see any articles with sensitive content. And because this is a page that follows news stories, this will block out stories of like natural disasters and things like that where there could be graphic images. So it makes it very good. It gives peace of mind to the teacher, to the parents, and then it keeps students out of harm's way. So students are given an access code and they enter that on the homepage. And after they enter that code, they have to make an account, but the account does not require them to give any personal information. And it also has a pop-up box that says getting the parents involved, give your information to the parent and get their permission. So then students are brought into a virtual classroom, which has been set up by their teacher, and they can access assignments through there. So teachers go into this classroom and they can post articles that they want the students to read, and these articles have assignments embedded into them. And not only can students complete their assignments, they can track their progress through reading quizzes, and the website will track their progress throughout the year, giving them charts and graphs showing how they've improved. And it will also adjust the content level based on their performance on past assignments. Teachers are also provided with the student results after they're done, so they get a clear picture of who is comprehending the information and who needs a little bit of extra help during class time. So the possible uses would be to use the vocabulary words assigned in the articles as the class's vocab words for the week, or you could even make them the spelling words for the week because they're highlighted within each article. So if you have a queue of articles set up for the week, then you could pull all the vocabulary words out of that and quiz the students at the end of the week on the spelling or the definitions. You could also assign bonus articles to boost grades because there's articles on a range of topics, and many of them might not fit into your class content, but would still be something good for your students to read. You could also have students choose an article to read and share a vocabulary word that they learned with their class, and they could get creative with this, and they could either incorporate technology or they could get crafty and do something with their hands. You could also assign articles about content learned in other subjects, such as history articles that connect to the Civil War and new findings on it, and that will just bring those, what seems to students like things that will never be relevant to them in real life, perspective that this is still happening in the real world. Applying the SAMR model, these assignments could be a substitute for having print copies of articles sent home. Students could be assigned an article based on a history lesson, as I discussed earlier, that they learned in class and have a discussion the following day on how the article related to the lesson and how it's relevant to events happening in today's world. Students could choose a vocabulary word from their assigned article and then go into the search bar and look for another article using that vocabulary word and write a short summary of this new article that they found containing the same word. Finally, students could choose their own article from Newsella on a topic of interest, pick one vocabulary word, and create a visual project teaching the class the definition of their word, and even giving the class a link to their articles so that other students could enjoy it as well. In conclusion, Newsella is a really cool tool to use in the classroom because students gain not only learning comprehension, but also they're learning how to read news articles and how to apply them to life and how to pick through those for relevant information. Newsella also gears articles toward individual students based on their assignment results, so there should not be anything that goes over their head. It's very user-friendly. And it really breaks barriers for students with disabilities because there's options for typing your responses instead of writing. If students have struggles with fine motor skills, if they have visual problems, there is an option to increase text size, or there's even an option to have the text read to you aloud. And the possible constraints, of course, I feel like we've listed this with everything so far, but it is very relevant. Students who don't have access to the internet or a computer could not use this tool to their benefit. They would not be able to access assignments without going somewhere in public or having their parent take them to get the resources they need. Another possible constraint would be with younger students, if they lost track of their username or password, they would get locked out of the classroom and they would have to make another account under a different email address. The teacher would have to go in and add the new email address in, and it just would get chaotic there. So there would need to be some kind of backup established for students with their usernames and passwords. Next, we're going on to Bridge URL with Brittany.
Okay, so Bridge URL was created by Anand Srinivasan. Sorry about that. And I really couldn't find a whole lot of information about him, so we'll just go ahead and go over to what it is. Basically, it's a way to share multiple links with one easy URL. So you don't need to register an account. All you do is copy and paste as many URLs as needed into the website, and it generates one URL for all of them. Every web page that is shared as a bridge URL will have two slider sections, and if you hover over the mouse, the section will show you a next or previous link, and if you click that link, to navigate between the various shared links. Applying the SAMR model for a substitute, you can use bridge URL to substitute for individual URLs. So it's kind of easier, and I think that all of this kind of goes tied in together with this one. Student can group the URLs together, which could be added into an assignment, like such as references. Modify it. Once again, it allows the students to group the URLs rather than handwriting them. That way, you know, if they're working on a project, they don't have to write them down to, you know, keep them on track. You can just add it all to like one link. And then redefine, it allows students to share the grouped link with ease to other students and teachers. In conclusion, Bridge URL just lets you share multiple links with one URL. It's easy to use and there's no registration needed. And once again, the need for internet access is definitely a big one. We need to have internet access. And next we'll be going to QR stuff with Kayla.
Okay. QR Stuff was founded by Densco Wave Incorporated. The purpose of QR codes is a QR code is a quick response. It hyperlinks or contains the code to certain sites or emails or something like that. So it's really good for students' classrooms because you can hyperlink to a video, an educational video, a email, a worksheet, anything like that. You can do a educational scavenger hunt and hyperlink to that. Students can check their work, go around the school and have an interactive school map. If they were a new student to that school, that's something that they could do. Or you could QR your worksheets. Applying it to the SAMR model, you can substitute QR codes to check your answers other than just doing it in class. It makes it a little bit more interactive and fun for the student. Students can be given homework sheets or worksheets in class and have a QR code to check the work at home just so that they know that they are right. Students can hyperlink the websites to find information that they need for an assignment. So let's say, for example, the teacher could give out a bunch of lists of the QR codes and the student can go on each website and find any information they seem relevant. The QR code website, the students can go on and make their own QR codes, which is cool to redefine. That way you can change the color, you can change the shape and the size, and this kind of gives them a little bit of a mystery of what is on the other side of that code. You can hyperlink it to 20 different sites on there, such as Facebook. You can do an email, you can do any website, you can do Google. So it is kind of open to many different options for students to learn through. Teachers can do it and students can do it. Students can learn any accessibility for projects through the QR codes, and constraints would be if there were vision problems to be able to find where the QR code is, or internet or phone or computer access. It's harder that way. And we're going to go to Chuzito with Emily.
Alrighty. So Chuzito was created by Dr. Eleni Milstasakaki, founded in 2009. And what it is a resource that gives teachers a safe environment to do web searches that are filtered by reading levels and subject areas to find what best fits the need of a student. And it's kind of like Newsela, but a little different, and it filters out all the resources that you don't want or need, but still works as a filter to keep students from accessing sites that aren't appropriate. And it's constantly updated so that it's up to date with new tools and recent books and resources that teachers and students and even parents can use to work with their students. But I think it's really cool because you can filter things that, one, are not appropriate for your students to be reading or viewing, and two, it filters out, it gives you the ability to filter through resources and lets you choose what you do and do not need, so you don't have to spend hours on end looking at resources when you need a specific one, and you can just filter through it. So applying the SAMR model, you can substitute this by creating a filtered resource to find tools that are useful for teachers and students, as opposed to sitting on hours on end in a library or searching through Google. And for augmentation, it enhances the usefulness of resources as they are more prominent and useful to what the teacher or student needs. And to modify this, you create a faster and easier way to find exactly what you were looking for. And for redefinition, it's a great way to search for tools while using the filter to weed out the resources that are not needed, while still keeping it appropriate for the student's level. And again, it does let you filter through grade level and different student needs so that you can find something that meets the needs specifically of your student. In conclusion, the tool allows parents, students, and teachers to find specific resources. It keeps students on websites that are appropriate to their levels. It is constantly updated with the newest tools and resources to use, and goes directly to the resource selected, and can also be used for any grade level. A major constraint of this is, again, of course, the technology dilemma, and students may not know what exactly to filter through when searching for something. They may find a resource that is too easy or too difficult for them if they're looking for a book or something to read. They may not pick the exact one that they actually needed. They may not have realized, what they actually needed, and could have been searching for the wrong thing the whole time. So it's definitely important to go over how to filter that with them when using this tool, so that they're not spending or wasting time looking for something that they didn't realize that they needed. And then next we have design tools, and Anna and I did Adobe Spark, and there wasn't a whole lot of information on who created this. So the Adobe company created this as a branch off tool of Adobe, and it was launched in 2016.
Adobe Spark is a tool used to incorporate graphics into the classroom. So when I was playing around with this tool, to me, it seemed like it was a cross between a video editor, PowerPoint, and an all-inclusive website designer. The account is free and easy to make. It can be linked with Google, Facebook, or your Adobe ID. There's even a Teach and Inspire category that opens a page with all these examples of how Adobe Spark has been used to enhance classroom settings. The website is extremely user-friendly, and it has tips for presentation enhancement and every step that you do. Now, this is probably the easiest tool that I used throughout this project, and I think it was because of the tips and also because the website did not have anything unnecessary on it. It's just all very straightforward. The only buttons you can click are ones that are going to take you to a useful tool. And the possible uses are to create pages to recap class events such as field trips or spirit weeks. Like I said, it can work as a website designer, so you can design pages and post them on different websites. You can make lesson-themed memes to capture students' attention. That was actually an entire section, was how to make a meme, which is something that will really grab elementary students' attention now. It's very popular with them. You can create video introductions for lessons, which is another very cool thing because it gives you a hook without having to do too much work. They walk you through the process of making the video. It's not anything that's going to take you hours. It will take you 5 minutes to make a video that will grab your students' attention. And finally, you could have students create a photo gallery about themselves at the beginning of the year, and they can share it to present with the class, kind of like an all about me board, but digitalized.
So applying the SAMR model, it substitutes boring black and white PowerPoints for fun graphics and interactive tools that students can use in the classroom. And like Anna just said, memes are probably one of the most popular things on the internet right now. So by incorporating that instead of just a plain picture of, like a dog saying, it's a rough day, like RUFF, it creates a fun and interactive way for students to engage with technology in the classroom. For augmentation, it allows students to do projects or assignments through this technology and provides a more interactive way to show it to the classroom for lectures. To modify it enhances all the lessons and projects or assignments that you do. Creates different ways to incorporate videos and PowerPoints and different ways to express the way it gives you different ways to express the information that you're trying to share with the group. And then for redefinition, it creates a more interactive and engaging lesson by just overall changing the way that you present it in a more engaging and inviting way that's enticing for the students to look at.
In conclusion, why choose Adobe Spark? To me, it was useful because all presentation features are available in one place. You can edit photos, create videos, make event pages, make a slideshow, and all the animations for the slideshow are built in, and sometimes you don't even have to click a button for them to appear. They just automatically transform your page into something that looks sleek and easy and fun. The ease of use can make every project look professional. In fact, I used it on a lesson that I made last week, and it was so much easier than using a PowerPoint, which I did not think it could get much easier than that, but it was easier and it looked 10 times better. And finally, it encourages creativity in the classroom. Some constraints, of course, students that don't have internet or computer access at home could not create presentations from home, or if there's someone that struggles, they don't have any pictures or videos downloaded into their computer already, then it could be hard to make presentations without having to go other places to find those resources. And of course, classrooms without smartboards could not display these presentations because it's not something that you can put on an overhead. It's not really something you can print out and put onto an overhead slide like you could with a PowerPoint slide. So it's really something that can only be done if you have smartboard technology or a projector that you can display your computer screen on in your classroom. Next, we go to Canva with Kayla and Brittany.
Okay, I love Canva. Canva was founded by Melanie Perkins, the CEO and co-founder of Canva. Melanie taught students how to use the programs such as InDesign and Photoshop. Programs like that are a little bit more difficult for people to learn how to use, myself included. And Cliff Overchet is a co-founder, and Cameron Adams is Canva's chief product officer. So Canva is a design tool that creates images and graphics. What's really cool about Canva is that there's 1,000,001 different customary templates that you can work from, and there are also pre-saved templates as well. On here you can upload your own graphics and photos, so teachers can take, photos of students doing their work or experiments if it was a science class, and kind of make it their own. If it wasn't used in the classroom, a school could use it in general just to make different signs and Facebook posts, or you can stick it on a website or our teacher websites. You can stick it on there and make a banner. There's so many different options that you can use with Canva. Workshops can be used for live instruction to cover the topics. Sometimes it is a little bit more difficult for people to learn how to use design tools like that. You can move your picture around in there. You can add writing to it. There's so many different options that you can do to make banners or posts or anything like that. If you want to update a parent, you can send out a great graphic to show what each student has done that day or something like that. You could also have the students go in and make their own graphic to give to their parents to show them what they are doing.
So applying SAMR model, we could substitute PowerPoint or Paint with Canva to make collages. You can create lessons using Canva, so that gears to the augmentation. To modify, you make Venn diagrams, visuals, graphs, or other type of hands-on visual type things. And for redefinition, you can have students make graphs or presentations using Canva. And in conclusion, Canva has the graphic representation, and you can use Canva for different media platforms. You can also use Canva on a desktop or a device. And once again, the constraint would be you got to have internet access. So this is our reference page, and hold up, sorry. We basically added all of the tools in here as our references, and they're hyperlinks, so we can go ahead and click on them and go to the website. And if there's anything that we can figure out, then that's it.
Okay,
Bye,
thank you
guys.
guys for sharing, and all of this presentation and our Hangout will be posted on all of our professional development pages of our websites, so you can find more information on the links provided in our presentation. All right, see you at the next Hangout.